Welcome, friends, to this third day of our 3-day program in Sebastopol. Again, I want to welcome you to this meeting that we are having. The idea of having these meetings is to re-inspire us on the spiritual path and to prod us to go back to doing our meditation, following the instructions of our masters, and taking advantage of this great opportunity that we have got. Where we don't attend these meetings, we tend to move away from our track, and we get so lost in our daily business, daily work, that we put aside the spiritual path. The truth is, if you were to see what is important for us, you would notice the spiritual path, which takes care of our eternity, takes care of all the time that we have to be there in any form, is far more important than taking care of a few things that are going to be important only for us for a few years that we are in this physical body. So we give so much attention to something so transitory, so temporary, and we forget what will happen in the long run after we die and what will be this state. Just because we have no knowledge, just because we are ignorant what happens after death, we think this life is the only one and we put so much attention on it. The truth is that the afterlife is far longer, more important than this. And if one realizes this, one has to put the spiritual activity, our spiritual life, as priority number one. We very often push this meditation and spiritual work to the very end of our other activities, whereas I believe it should be number one on our priority list. We should say, this is number one, then everything else comes. Now, my experience and the experience of many of my friends shows when we put our spiritual activity, our meditation as number one, the other things to which we are giving attention and trying to make them work well, they work well by themselves. That just by putting your priority on your meditation and spiritual work, other things happen by themselves. The other important thing is that it is very necessary to have the company of a perfect living master, and if we can't get that, of those who are advanced beyond us and have their company, and that also helps us to remain on track on the spiritual path. Without these aids, our mind tends to take us away into our normal routine rituals of daily life, and those are not important. Those are not important. When we die, at the last moment we say, oh, I wish I had understood this was all temporary. Oh, I spent so much time trying to invest in my house. The house is no longer with me. Oh, I thought I'll buy a new car. I was saving for it, and I'm dying. I couldn't even buy the car. I remember a friend of mine who could not come to one of the programs. And he said the reason for not coming was that he wanted to buy a chair, expensive chair, $800 chair. And he had put a lay aside and put some money on that, and therefore he could not come. And next time he again missed. He had to make another installment on that layaway for the chair. Eventually he died without getting the chair. Now what will happen to him? He, just because of his desire for the chair which was not fulfilled, he has assured for himself to come back again into this life just to pick up a chair. That's what happens. What are we putting our attention on? We are trying to focus on things that are least important. Similarly, we make our relationships. These are our permanent friends. And when we die, they are all left behind. Nobody goes with us. So if we just remember that one day we are going to leave this body, and these relationships, these acquisitions of property are only connected with our physical body, we will set our priorities right and do something for what is inside us and not only for our physical body. There are so many things that we learn from other people's experience. They say that Alexander the Great, he raided India, raided many Asian countries, And in India particularly, he found there were a lot of temples where there was gold, minarets, gold was stored there. He thought that was easy target. And he carried his horses, his elephants, they all went about looting all those places. He killed many people, made many children orphans, made many women widows, and gathered all that loot, put them on his camels and his horses, and was on his way back to Egypt. And on the way he fell sick. If you have studied the history of Alexander, he fell sick on the way before he could ever reach Egypt. And there he said, I must go back to my capital, I must go back to my headquarters. The doctors, physicians attending on him said, Alexander, this is your last moment. We can't save you. You are about to die. He said, I cannot die, because a gypsy told me when I was young that, Alexander, you will not die till the sky becomes gold and the earth becomes silver. So since the sky is never gold and the earth is never silver, I can't die. I'm immortal. That's what he thought. But when he was so sick, right on the way, in the desert, they laid out his silver armor on the ground on which to lay him. And he had a gold canopy, umbrella. They put that on top. When he saw the silver below him, saw the gold above him, he knew that he was going to die. The gypsy's prophecy had come out right. Then he said, I am willing to give all this loot that I brought. I am willing to give all the wealth I collected by killing people. If somebody can give me a few days extra life to take me back home. And the doctor said, there's no way that you can get anything by way of extra life, but at any price. So then he lamented that I did so much horrible things, and I can't get a few days of life to reach my own place, to where I belong. And then he ordered that when I die, when you put me in my coffin, leave my hand outside the coffin, so that the whole world should see that Alexander the Great, who thought he could conquer the world, left empty-handed. And that was precisely done. In his coffin, his hand was left outside, so people could see that even Alexander the Great left empty-handed. And yet, look at the amount of time we spend on acquiring things, and we make plans. And people of my age, in their 80s, they come and tell me, I'm making an investment. In 20 years, I'll get a very big return. Right? And then they say, oh, I'm going to buy these new things. Nothing goes with them. And even those who pretend to be loving you, as soon as you die, if you keep your eyes open, you see what they are after. A man, I remember, pretended to die. He said, let me see how much my kids love me and how much my relatives love me. So he closed his eyes and made an arrangement with his doctor. The doctor came and pronounced him dead. And then everybody was fighting. That is my thing. I have to, did he leave a will for me? And he saw that they were all after his things, and nobody cared for what was happening to him. So then he woke up and he said, I am not dead. I'm alive. I've seen the sincerity of all of you. And they got shocked. So these people whom we are trying to make our own, these things and properties that we are trying to make our own, nothing will go with us. And we put so much attention on them. Where are our priorities? Should we not give our priority to what is going to be with us forever? That is why the spiritual path is not going to be here. It's going to be with us forever. Our relationship with somebody who goes beyond this physical universe is going to be forever. Our relationship with the perfect living master is going to be forever. And that is why, that is where our high priority should be. And we should not be just running after things that are temporary, ephemeral, and will never last. The Egyptians had a technique of meditation through which they were able to foresee their afterlife. They were good meditators, they were spiritual people, they had their own way of discovery. They made great pyramids, they made structures to show that they had knowledge beyond ordinary knowledge of human beings. And yet, when the pharaohs were buried with a lot of wealth around them, and people thought that they are stupid, they think the wealth will go with them. Tutankhamun's grave was opened up and found so much gold, so much wealth around him. And people said he thought it will go with him. No, nothing goes with you after death. But why they did that was because they found that the decisions you make with your free will, over here, those decisions work out in the astral plane. And what you want here and cannot get it, but if the wish is there, it can be, with spiritual discipline, be fulfilled in the astral plane. There was a method in their madness which most people did not understand. The only place where you can make decisions thinking it is your free will is the physical plane, in a human form. Astral plane does not allow you to make decisions. It only plays out the decisions. Then where are the decisions made for the astral plane life? They are made here. Well, we are alive here. So all good decisions that we make here and use of free will to best advantage is played out in the astral plane. So that is where we should put our attention to see what long-term benefits can we get which are beyond this life of the physical body and make those decisions here. And then it's an advantage. This is where the perfect living master and the spiritual path comes in, because you are enabled to make decisions way beyond this life. You are able to prepare yourself the afterlife and prepare to go home. I want to say a few words about a perfect living master. And this is because people ask this question to me often. Who is a perfect living master? Where can we find one? How can we know who is a perfect living master? So these questions have come again and again, and I deliberately use the word master and distinguish it from perfect living master, because there are many masters. And those masters, even those who are genuine masters taking us within, they take us to various kinds of experiences. They take us to higher experiences. They take us to heavens. They take us to the origin of our three worlds. They take us to the universal mind. But those are not perfect living masters. Because even if you are able to attain that highest state of a universal mind in the causal plane, you are still bound to come back at some point and be reborn again. It's still part of the cycle of birth and rebirth. It's not complete liberation from the cycle of birth and rebirth. Only when you go beyond the mind that you are free from the cycle of birth and rebirth. Therefore, when I talk of perfect living masters, I am talking of human beings who in their awareness have reached that point. There is no other difference between them and us. It is not that their body is different, that they're born differently, that they live differently, that they die differently, that their health is different. Everything is like us. That they live like ordinary human beings, just like us. The difference is entirely in their state of awareness. How much aware are they? Are they aware only of this physical world or more? Some masters can ascend to those levels and come back and teach us. Some yogis have had inner experiences. They come back to the physical, ordinary world and talk to us about their experiences. But perfect living masters do not go and come back to tell us anything. They are there all the time. They are at all levels of consciousness, all levels of creation. They operate at all levels at the same time when they are here. They have reached that level of awareness, of totality, which includes all experience at the same time. When you reach your true home, you have not reached at a higher place and left everything behind. You have found the secret of the entire creation. You found out that the entire creation, including this physical world and the astral and causal worlds, are coexisting and being created as a method of a large-scale creation from consciousness, and you participate in the whole thing. Therefore, perfect living masters are those that when they are in human form amongst us, they do not talk to us only because of what they have seen or what they have learnt. They talk to us for what they are experiencing right when they talk to us. That is why you will find that there is a sense of certainty in what they say. There is no maybes and perhapses in their conversation, because they are not speculating on something, not trying to remember something, not trying to say what they learned. They are telling what they can experience right there and then when they are talking to us. So this is one big sign that when somebody is experiencing something and talking directly of that experience, there can be no maybes or something of any doubt about it. They are experiencing something and sharing with us. So they are not like any masters. They are masters who are talking directly from experience while they are talking to us. It's a very big difference. Even of Jesus Christ, they say, after he had delivered his Sermon on the Mount, so the Bible says that after he finished speaking, there was a hush upon the multitude, for he spake like one with authority and not like the scribes. That's the difference. He did not speak like he had learned something like the scribes were doing, which were reading scripture and reciting from there. He spoke like one with authority who was talking right from experience. That's a very big difference between perfect living masters who speak with authority because they are speaking directly from what is happening when they are speaking to us. So big difference there. Now who are they really? What is the reality of a perfect living master? There are so many answers to this question, depending upon from which point of view, from where we ask this question. If we ask this question from our standpoint of being a human being and there's another human being, then they are human beings with higher consciousness, with totality of consciousness. With them, they can become friends and guide us to our own true home. They are like friends who can guide us to our true home. And it is not because they will teach us how to go, they'll go with us. They'll take us along. And that is why it's friendship, it's companionship, that they go together. And they're together. They are not together just to ride on a spiritual path. They're together to enjoy life. They're together to live well here. They're together to live well in the astral plane. They're together to see the scope of experiences in the causal plane. They are together as our souls. And they are together when we are one with them in our totality. They never leave us. In fact, somebody once told me that he is very frightened of the prospect of going to Sachkhand. I said, why are you frightened? He says, I understand in Sachkhand everybody becomes one. I said, that's not a bad thing. Why are you afraid? He said, that is very lonely. Here I have company, I have got friends here, I enjoy my life here, and what am I going to do? Work hard to reach a spot where I'll be alone and again be lonely? That's not worthwhile. But one does not realize that the state which we reach is not one. The word one would not exist if there was not many. Have you ever thought of it? That you cannot say one if there were not two or more. The word one would disappear. Totality is quite different from one. Totality is quite different from loneliness. Totality means one and many at the same time. That you never lose your company, you never lose your friendship. It's all there right in totality of consciousness. So it's not that you are lonely. There's no loneliness at the top. There's no loneliness at all at the top because the entire creation, much more than we can see here, exists there. And we're in great company. We're great souls all dancing around, and yet they're all part of one. It is like there is one big bubble in which small bubbles can be dancing around, and the little bubbles say, oh, we are many, and the big bubble says, we are one. It's something like that. It's not that the many disappear in that oneness. Therefore, there is no loneliness there at all. So it's very difficult to understand that there is such a state where the one and the many are experienced together. And there is no distinction between the two over there. Here we distinguish them because we separate everything here with our minds. And with total consciousness, we don't separate anything. It's all one. It's all part of one consciousness because this show of creation is not taking place anywhere outside. It is taking place within that totality of consciousness. It has never taken place anywhere out. There's nothing out. There is no outside. Outside had to be created for the sake of experience. This space and time which creates this vastness has been created just for experience. It does not mean it exists. What exists is totality with no outside. Everything is inside. The whole creation is inside. So how can one describe that state of being? It's very difficult. It looks all contradictory. When we are sitting here, it looks contradictory. So coming back to the physical plane, who is a perfect living master? Somebody who attracts us with his unconditional love. Somebody who tells us that we can go back home together. Somebody who becomes our friend. If he cannot become our friend, he will not take us back home, I tell you this. I told you the story of Dr. Ishwar Singh yesterday. And Dr. Ishwar Singh till the last moment kept on saying, I have discovered one thing. A perfect living master is a friend first and a master afterwards. If he's not a friend, he's not a master. He becomes a friend first, and there's an essential step towards his becoming a master. Because master would be merely a teacher. Master would just give us instructions what to do. Whereas a perfect living master is a friend who has to go with us, take us with him as a companion, as a friend. Therefore, he becomes a friend first and then becomes a master. So remember that this is not a relationship of just listening to somebody who's giving a good discourse and he's our master. It is a master, but not a perfect living master. So remember, perfect living master, as human beings, we come across that person, we must feel he's a friend who is with us. And then he can be manifested if we follow simple directions of meditation. Sometimes I feel, what is the purpose of meditation? In Great Master's time, when my master was alive, I used to wonder, am I meditating in order to get something? Am I putting my effort to see something? Am I trying to find out? I tried other methods which were easier. I tried a yogic practice in which they asked me to use the Kundalini method. They asked me to use the heart meditation method, out-of-body experiences. I tried those, and they were much easier than trying to put your attention behind the eyes. I found that is so easy, but what is it giving me? What am I trying to get out of this? And I discovered that what I'm trying to get is an experience which may be extraordinary, but I am still struggling with something. I am still missing something. I am missing something inside me which I can't find. But when I found a friend in a master whose consciousness was about to take me along with him, when I found the friend, that's only when I said, that's what was missing. You look into your lives and deeply, and you will find there is something missing. And what is missing? A true friend. Somebody who can take your loneliness away by being your companion forever. That's what we are missing. And that cannot be filled up by any of the yogic practices, by any kind of meditation, except by a permanent friend who is with us all the time. Therefore, when I checked out what is the purpose of meditation, I found the purpose of meditation was to manifest the image of that friend within me and see that radiant form become alive, like the person outside, in fact more alive, and that's the purpose of meditation. Once that is achieved, I have achieved my goal. My goal was not Sachkhand. My goal was to find the friend who is operating from Sachkhand. If I am with him, where will I go? I'll go to Sachkhand. Therefore, the purpose over here is to befriend. And perfect living masters come for that, to befriend us, so that we can feel as close as we can to a long-term friend. This is going to be the longest-term friend you can find, because this friendship will last forever. It will last into the true home. So that is why, as we see as a human being, what a perfect living master is, he becomes friendly. We are drawn by his love. We are drawn by his unconditional love. That's very important. If his love is conditional, even to the extent of saying, if you be good, I will love you. Otherwise, I'll punish you. Rule him out. Cannot be a perfect living master. If he says, well, how have you been doing? You have not been doing good things? Sorry, I can't help you anymore. Not a perfect living master. Who is a perfect living master? You say, Master, I did some pretty bad things. Okay, you are forgiven, don't do them again. A good sign. Always forgiving. And totally non-judgmental. If he passes judgment on you, on himself, or anybody else, not a perfect living master. Totally non-judgmental. He will not judge. And we may be good or bad. What is his attitude towards us if we are good or bad? His attitude is they are trapped in good and bad. He has so much compassion. Love and compassion run through him all the time. He looks at us with so much compassion. Look, they are trapped. They don't know. They can't even help being good or bad. Therefore, let me get them out of this mess. He's not judging, don't be good, don't be bad. Then he's no longer a perfect living master. So perfect living master is totally non-judgmental. And this is, how do you know? You're associating with him like a friend. He's an ordinary human being, like any other friend. Except when you associate with him, you discover these remarkable qualities, totally extraordinary qualities of the unconditional love, being totally non-judgmental, loving you all the time, and making sure he understands you better than you understand yourself. As you get to know a perfect living master, that human being, in association with him, from time to time you'll marvel, looks like he knows me better than I know myself. Certainly knows my mind better than I know myself. And that's a strange experience. But that is the nature and quality of that human being whom we call a perfect living master. He's still a human being, but he has these qualities. And that distinguishes him from all other masters and teachers who teach us so many things. There's also another way that we can look at it. We can look at it, is he helping us in our daily life? Does he have access to some extraordinary powers that we can go to, which many other people can help? Does he also refrain himself? He says, no, I am on the spiritual path, I won't help you. This help you seek from others. Because I've seen some masters saying, I am only for spiritual work. I don't look into your worldly things. If you have problems, go and deal with them. That's your problem, not mine. I'm not a perfect living master. A perfect living master comes up for everything that we are experiencing. As a real friend won't run away and say, I only deal with this part of your life and not the other. A perfect living master deals with every part of our life. And how does he help? He says, I am a simple human being like yourself. I don't have the power as a human being to do, but I have something, a secret with which I can help you. And that secret is, I have a perfect living master of my own. He is the secret. He is powerful. He'll always give credit to his perfect living master. Says, he will help you. He will give you the help. And through that method of giving the credit to his own master, he will help us even in worldly things. He'll lighten our burdens. He knows we have to go through karma to sustain human life, but he'll make it light and bearable enough so that we can go through it without problem. So the ordinary human being who is a perfect living master never claims to be a master, never claims to be extraordinary. We find his extraordinariness by experience with him. And then anything he does, which we say like a miracle sometimes, he ascribes it only to his own master. And he uses his own master as the power to do everything. You'll find that in the true perfect living masters always. But somebody who says, come on, I'll help you, I can do this thing, rule him out. He's a master, not a perfect living master. So there are so many distinctions from the point of view of us sitting in a physical body. Now what happens at a higher stage? Supposing we are able to meditate and manifest the radiant form of the master and see him inside. We are still in the physical body, but during meditational sessions, we rise to the astral self. They look dreamlike in the beginning because our reality is still this physical world. We have a great experience, and then we come back. That was a great experience. I am not sure if it was a dream. I am not sure if my imagination made it up. I am not sure. It was a great experience. I saw things which don't exist here. I saw such great light, doesn't exist here. I saw new types of flowers, for example, growing in gardens there. I've never seen them here. I've seen skies of crystals and skies made of gold, which I've never seen here. These experiences are actually experiences of inner levels of consciousness. But when we are back here, our idea that this is the only reality makes them look dreamlike. But they could not be dreamlike because they have no relationship with the experiences we are having here. But because at one time we have only one reality, therefore when we come back here, we always question, the mind questions. It was a great experience, but are you sure it was a higher level of consciousness? Because these glimpses that we have, glimpses do not stabilize us at those levels. And we keep on having these glimpses. At every glimpse that we have, when you stabilize it, that means you are able to go to the same type of glimpse again and again with practice. And that means you can stabilize it and be there as long as you like. There's not a glimpse anymore then. When you can do that, you will find your master in his radiant form is there with you, starting right from the third eye center, all the way up to your true home, Sachkhand. It's a permanent friendship from that point onwards. Day and night, you can be moving around, walking around, talking to people, he's with you. He is guiding you, looking after you, helping you, cracking jokes with you, smiling with you, holidaying with you. You can't imagine, there's no limit. He's like a real friend with you. And the friend is not invisible friend, becomes visible friend. These are great experiences that you have if you're stabilized these experiences at the astral plane. So if somebody really wants a friend who is visible and all the time there, next step would be that apart from manifesting the radiant form of the master, stabilize those experiences, which in the beginning takes a longer time of meditation, longer period, so that you allow these experiences to stay with you. Master becomes a very deep friend and a powerful friend at that time because you see there's power there. But we still don't know fully who he is. We still think he's an advanced person with a lot of power and he has power derived from his master, but we still don't know what he really is. When we go beyond that, then we discover that he is much more than what we thought. He's the creator of all the things that we are seeing. It's a very strange experience. When we go to the ultimate true home, we find the very person we were naming as Sat Purush, the ultimate creator, was the same person in the human form that we thought was the perfect living master. That he carried the consciousness of the creator himself while he was talking to us as a human being here. How can you describe that experience? How can you ever express this surprise? And this is a true surprise that we get even after we learn about it. It's a possibility. You're still surprised to a great degree. It's like the story I told you the other day about the king who took that man woodcutter to the palace and sat on the throne and said, I am the king. It's the same thing. Then the biggest surprise is that you are no different from him. That your soul in its reality is the same as your master. That you are part of him all the time, right from here, which you can't see when you are here. So as these things unfold, as you have these higher experiences, you continuously unfold a new picture of your master, and you discover he is more and more than you ever thought. Starting from here to the top, you always feel and discover, not feel, discover that he is more and more than you thought. So don't take that ordinary human being who walks amongst us and talks to us like ordinary persons, gets into the foibles that we get into, expresses surprise at little things that are happening. I know great master, sometimes I would be with him and they would say, a man is coming and he is going to bring up this problem for you and you are not supposed to know it and you are supposed to express surprise when he comes. He already knows it. When the guest would come, I would quietly see how great master acts. He says, what? I'm surprised. He was a very good actor. Perfect living masters are perfect actors, I can tell you this. They are perfect actors. And they will act exactly according to what is needed at any time. And therefore, this is not something that they are not trying to do that. It's natural for them because they are at all levels at all times. At this level, they join us to be like us, like our level. The reason why they become just like us, just ordinary like us, is because the essence of our own self, which is love. Love is our essence. Love, that power that makes you feel one. The power that identifies with the beloved. That special, extraordinary power, the greatest power that exists in all the worlds, including our Sachkhand. And the greatest power that exists right here in the physical world. That essence of our own consciousness itself. That's the essence of it. They are great masters in that particular expression of that love. And through that love, they are pulling us. Their whole path, their whole method of taking us back to a true home is through love. Other things they add on to be like us. Other things like ordinariness, like expressing surprise and working with us and cracking jokes with us, asking simple questions from us, are to become like us. And we love them for that. As I said, day one, if they look like extraordinary people, we can admire them, we can worship them, we can be in awe of them, but we cannot love them. We only love people who are like us. And that is why they become just like us. And we love them as human beings. And we love them as higher beings. And this love stretches on all the way. And they are successful because they can draw us through their love. And they don't draw our bodies. Don't think that they are drawing our body. They are not drawing our body. They are not interested in our perceptions. They are not interested in our thoughts. They are not interested in our minds. They are interested only in our soul. Only that intuitive self. Only that soul, the life power, the power of consciousness itself, which is seeking its own true home, which is wanting to go back home. The truth is that as souls, when we came into these experiences of different worlds, we did not leave our seeking. The seeking was hidden inside us. Even when we were playing heartily in these games over here, the seeking was still there. Only when this became less attractive than we thought, that the seeking became aware, we become aware of our seeking. We all seek. We all have the same soul seeking our own origin and our truth. There's no exception to that. There's some are seekers, some are not. We are all seekers. But we are not aware of our seeking. Like we are not aware of our own status. We are not aware of our own reality. We are not aware who we are. Similarly, we are not aware of our seeking. We become aware of our seeking when we find that the mental games that we have been playing here, the games of the senses and the games of our body that we have been playing here, are no longer attractive. They are not sufficiently attractive to pull us and keep us here. And now we want to go back. The seeking comes into prominence and we can feel we are seekers. At that time, that seeking itself, when it becomes prominent, we get ready to go back home. And a perfect living master who is part of us at all times, he recognizes where the seeker is. Then it's his job to appear there. If the whole thing is being manifested from consciousness, and this totality of consciousness, he can appear anywhere. And he appears as an ordinary person like ourselves. Like the story of the woodcutter, he becomes a woodcutter and takes us to the palace. Similarly, he responds to our seeking. And the love of a perfect living master is a response to that seeking. And that is why we sometimes wonder, our mind wonders, what is pulling us there? I have friends of mine who say, we don't like your teaching. They are inconsistent with our belief systems. But we love to come to see you. I said, I am very happy that you come to see me. But if you don't believe what I say, and why do you come to listen to me? We don't know. We don't know why. We just like it. But we don't accept it. Our religious belief prevents us from accepting what you are saying. Our religious belief is something we can't get off. We grew up with it. That's our life. Our religious belief does not fit in totally with what you are saying. And therefore, we can't accept what you say. But we love to come and see you. We love to come and hear you. And every time we hear you, something happens to us and we like to come again. What is that? Where is the mind working and where is the soul working? The soul is drawn not by teachings, not by belief systems. Soul is not even drawn by belief systems. Soul is drawn by the power of love of the other soul. It's not drawn by any other ways. An atheist is equally well to be drawn than a religious believer. There's no difference. When it comes to the soul of an atheist and the soul of a religious believer is no different. Therefore, it's not something connected with religious belief. It's not connected with blind feelings about some religion or what the religion says. Religion, almost all religions that I know of, started off with spirituality, pure spirituality. All the religions I have studied, I studied 11 religions when I was at Harvard University as an extra course besides what I was supposed to do. And I found in the history of religions, they started with a simple thing that there is one God and the God is within you and you can find him inside. The kingdom of God is also within you. All religions said the same thing. I have studied. Isn't that spirituality? That's spirituality. But now add on to that. If you contribute to the church, if you contribute to the temple, this will happen. If you follow these outside ceremonies and rituals, well, you will make more progress. If you read these books and keep on reading them, you'll make more progress. That's the distinction. Don't read that book, read this book. Spirituality didn't say that. The spiritual teaching that there is only one creator and the same creator, we're children of the same creator. There's no difference. We are all children of the same creator and the way to find the creator is within yourself. That's the spiritual path. It's the foundation of all religions. What has happened then? How did spirituality go back into such a state? It's totally now full of rituals and ceremonies. And that is religion. Religion is not even talking about these things. You go and listen to the discourses that are being given. The discourses are divisive. They are not putting you together. They are not saying we're all together. No, you are going to be saved because you follow this religion. Those are not going to be saved. Those are stepchildren now. Suddenly, every religion has made a large number of its own children into stepchildren. If you don't follow us, you are out. That's not the spiritual teaching from which the religion itself started. And they're still saying the same thing. The scriptures are saying the same thing. And how come those who are executing the commands of the scriptures and the teachers who founded those religions, they're interpreting it like this, like we have to divide each other? The spirituality always put them together, never separated them. So that is why these perfect living masters, when they come, they are not religious heads. For them, all religions are good. They welcome a person following any religion. They have never asked any person to change his religion and take another religion in order to follow the spiritual path. It's not a religious conversion. Keep your own religion. In fact, follow it. Follow carefully what the religion actually says and follow it, and you will follow the same spiritual path. The spiritual path is not a particular religion. Well, some of us following the spiritual path with masters have tried to make it religion also. Even today, the perfect living masters who have come and given us pure, unalloyed spirituality, you will see after some years, after some time, they'll make it a religion. They won't make it a religion. People are not practicing what the masters are teaching, who will be running the organizations under the name of that religion. They'll make it into rituals and ceremonies and convert into a different thing. Now, this is our spiritual path. That's not ours. They'll divide. Once you start dividing, no, it's a mind game. Only the mind divides. Spirit never divides. Soul never divides. Love never divides. Mind divides. The thinking mind divides. All the separation that we feel is because of the mind. Today, if you ask me a simple question, why are we separated from God if we are one with Him? Answer simple, the mind. The mind has divided us. The mind has put us in another direction altogether, and God is sitting within us. The mind has drawn us outside. That's the division. The mind always divides. The mind system is what we would in philosophical terms say analytical. When the mind wants to study something, it divides, analyzes. You know what is analysis? Analysis is always done, break things into pieces and see each piece. That's analysis. Whereas the opposite of that is synthesis. Put everything together and see as a whole. The soul believes in synthesis and the mind believes in analysis. They are at loggerhead with each other right now because the soul wants to put everything together, wants to see the grand big picture, wants to be in the true home, and the mind says, no, go here, go there, look at this person, look at that, divide. Keep on dividing. This is mine, that is yours, this is not mine, this is not yours. All a division of the mind. And mine and yours become so different, mine and theirs. So this is a division by the mind. Soul never divides. So that is why true spiritual masters who come here, they never divide. You will never see them telling our method is meant for a small group of people. Never. They will say this spiritual path is for all human beings. You are all lucky to be human beings. You are all lucky to have human bodies. You are lucky to have human consciousness. You are lucky to have free will. You are lucky to be able to seek. You are lucky to recognize your seeking. And you are lucky to have found a perfect living master. That's what they will say. They will not bring you into all the rituals which divide us from all religions. So nor will they ever say that this is my group, that is not my group. They don't come to form any groups. They do not come to form any societies. They do not come to form anything separate. They come for whole humanity. Their message is for the entire humanity. And they never distinguish between any two people at all. Their method of teaching to take us within ourselves is open to all human beings. All, I was going to say both genders, but now they are all genders. In India recently, they have added in the Constitution of India a third gender. Male, female, and those who are both are none, something like that, transgender. So they are put as an official in the Constitution. There is a recognized third gender. Some other countries are also trying to follow that. So what I mean is that their teaching is for everybody. And even a child of 5 years old, an old man of 100 years old can all practice this easily. It's such a natural practice. The practice of going within and listening to what is going on within, listening to the sound current within, listening to your own self and the sound that emanates from the self is not confined to anybody particular, nor to any age. We can do it any time. And that is why, please remember, the great master who gave us these instructions never excluded anybody from his teachings. And perfect living masters never exclude anybody from their teachings. All are always welcome. All are qualified. All are well qualified to follow this path. So therefore, perfect living masters really live like ordinary human beings, but they are totally at the same time one with the Creator. Remember this. Don't take them as ordinary beings. Start with taking them as ordinary beings. And gradually see what the effect upon us is in the relationship with them. And we'll find the distinction between them and all other friends, all other human beings that we have met. It's such a great experience to see the power of unconditional love on ourselves and the way it pulls us. We may have all the doubts. By the way, this mind of ours will always create doubt. Don't think that it's only creating doubt once in a while. You can have great experiences. One bad thing happens, the mind says, no, this is not it. I have met my friends who had inner experiences, who were able to go to the astral plane and fly who had seen the orange sky of the causal plane, and they had great flights there, flights and great experiences there. One bad event took place in their physical life. Somebody very close to them died. Some accident took place. Their faith was lost. So mind can create doubts on very small events like this. It is only the love, unconditional love of a master that pulls us through those stages. Otherwise we can be very shaky. The mind makes us very shaky. So we are saying, okay, if the mind is shaky, don't worry. Stay with that, whatever basic faith you can develop from whatever experiences you have. Stay with that. Even through these difficult periods, Master will pull you out. Always pull you out. So this is an experience of so many people who had the opportunity to be with perfect living masters. So that is why it's not something that you can say the mind will never have a doubt after you get initiated by a perfect living master. Mind is still there. It can still create doubts. And the doubts are overcome only by more experience. Doubt cannot be overcome just by killing it. If you try to kill a doubt, it becomes more doubtful. That's the nature of the mind. So that is why perfect living masters, they help us in very invisible ways. We can't see how they're helping us. But circumstances change, things change, and we can see their hand in it. In retrospect, you see a lot. When you see back in life and say, boy, that was so much stuff that they helped us with. It could have gone like this, could have gone like this. There was great grace and mercy upon us that these things happened like that. But while it is happening, we forget the good things and we are only concentrating on one thing. This is not good. Master is no good for us. He should have been here. I remember somebody had sent me a picture called Footprints. You must have seen that footprints on the sand. That a man remembers, looks at the sky, and while he's looking at the sky, all his life goes on, and he finds in his worst times there are only one pair of footprints. In other times there are two pairs of footprints. So he complains to the Lord that how come when I had the biggest problems, you left me and I only see my own footprints and you are not there. And the Lord says, it was in those times that I carried you in my arms, therefore you don't have your footprints. It's exactly the same. These perfect living masters function like that. They carry us during those periods when it's very high karma, very heavy karma, very difficult karma for us to face. They carry us through. And then at the end we realize the thing still happen. The event still happens. Its impact is not there. And we wonder how this impact has happened. This accident happened, illness happened, things that we don't like happened. And yet we were not hurt, yet we did not feel this. How does that happen? Because that's when the Lord carries us with Him. That's how the perfect living masters help us. Perfect living masters are way beyond what we can imagine when we are in the physical body and they come into our life. I wanted to share all this with you because people ask questions about perfect living masters. We are very all lucky here. We are all seekers. From my point of view, we are all lucky sitting here because we are all seekers. We have recognized our seeking. We have gathered together here because of our seeking. A guaranteed way of finding a perfect living master. That's the only way, actually, to find a perfect living master, because now it is the master's job to come and help us. We have sought, we have come to seek. Now, Master, come and take us. It's your job now. We've done our duty. Our duty was to seek within our heart. We have been seeking. And now we have come. Now you take over. That should be our attitude. And be open. If you are open, Master will be there for you to take you home. I am very happy that I shared these experiences about a perfect living master with you. And I will be talking finally about the path this afternoon. I'll take up some questions now. Thank you. Would you say a few words on the apparent paradox of free will and determinism? That's a big subject. I could give a full talk on that. Briefly, I'll tell you a brief synoptic view of that. Free will is a real experience when we are in the physical body. There is no question about it. We are given choices and we make those choices. They are free. We know that the choice is open, can be turned left, can be turned right, we can decide. Nobody is telling us which way to turn. We decide to turn right. How did we turn right? Because we use free will. Could we have turned left? Yes, we could have, but we didn't. Why didn't we? Why didn't we turn left? Why did we turn right? What determined? We determined, our free will determined. Okay, we open a book, at the astral plane it says, this guy will reach that intersection and he will say, shall I turn left or shall I turn right? And he will turn right. Written before we did that. We had no access to it. It was hidden somewhere. It was hidden inside us. It was hidden inside us that when we come to the intersection, we will say, I can turn left or I can turn right. And I will, by free will, decide to turn right. I can't really say what was determinant. Maybe I said it's a shorter route to somewhere. Maybe there's some other reason for it. Maybe it is totally arbitrary, but I turned right. Would it be a good piece of knowledge to know that you turned right because it was written there to turn right? Would it be probable that we turned right because it was written there and we were just being guided in our thoughts to turn right? If it was, then that was a predetermination that we would turn right. But that was not our experience. We had no idea about what is written there. We don't even know if anything is written there or not. All we know is that we had a full choice, a complete freedom to turn left or right. And we ourselves, with our own free will, with no knowledge of anybody, nobody else knows, decided to turn right. That's our free will experience. It's a real experience. So we can't deny that free will in the physical world is a real experience. First of all, if somebody sits here without knowledge of that and says free will is not real, he's a liar. I can go that far. When he says there is no free will, he's using free will to say that. I can even tell you that. To say there is free will or no free will, he's using his free will to say that. He's making a choice to say that. It is impossible not to make choices when you are here. We are accosted with choice making every day, several times a day. And every time we have to make decisions. Go this way or that way. Is it good or not good? Should we do it or not do it? Should we change our plans, not change our plans? We are making decisions the whole day, every day. How can we say that it's not free? We are making all free will choices. Therefore, so long as we are in the physical body and we have no access to anything else, free will is real and is working. Is it a good thing or bad? I say it's a very good thing. I say thank God for it, that we have free will. Without free will, we would not be seeking. Seeking is also coming from our free will. We decide, I am fed up, I want to seek. Where is it coming from? Our free will. So free will is a great experience, the greatest experience, a totally real experience in the physical world. Now, first of all, let's get this out of the mind, that there is no determinism, there is nothing prefixed so far as we are here in this world. We are making our destiny as we go along. We make our choices as we go along. We are creating everything with our own free will. Free will is real. Now, we go to the next step and see that what we thought was free will was written somewhere. It was written somewhere, therefore, we were being forced to do that. Our whole thinking process, the process through which we think and make free will, the very factors that come into decision making, that we should decide like this or like that, what thoughts we will have beforehand, is all pre-written. That is how we will think and make a choice of free will. Is it still free will? Then we begin to doubt it. That somebody seemed to have written this before, so we are acting mechanically. We are acting just inconsistent with what is already written somewhere. You might have heard of my own experience with a Bhatra. I had gone to Lucknow in India for an interview for a naval position. And when I finished my interview, I came out, there was a Sikh gentleman with a turban and a beard, and he was standing there, and he said, "Good luck." And I said, "Why are you saying good luck?" He said, "Do you have a piece of paper?" I said, "Sure, I had a lot of pieces of paper." I gave him a piece of paper. He said, "Write the name, write a number between 1 and 10. And what was my thought when he said this? I said, I know these tricks. I used to play these tricks with kids when I was young. We would say, think of a number between 1 and 10. Everybody said 5. Because middle number. I said, this guy is thinking that I am going to write 5. I am not going to write 5. I have to call off his bluff that he can guess these things. I wrote 3. Then he said, write the name of a flower. Most common flower is gulab or rose. I said, he is expecting me to write rose. Let me think of a flower he may never have heard of. I was in another state, Uttar Pradesh. I said, he may not have heard of my Punjabi flower and chameli. So I wrote C-H-A-M-E, in English, C-H-A-M-E-L-I. And he said, now write your date of birth. So I wrote 1926. He looked at it. Oh, I said date of birth, not year of birth. So normally we write date first and the year later, but I wrote the November 26 after that. He said, oh, now whatever you have written, I have given you a paper earlier in your hand. He had given me some paper with his own writing earlier. I forgot to tell you that. He said, now open that paper which I gave you before you wrote all these things. I opened the paper. It said 3 Chameli 1926 November. He wrote those things before I wrote them. He wrote them at least 3-4 minutes before I wrote them. How could he guess what I am going to say? How could he guess how I am going to use my free will? How could another person, if it is my free will and I was deciding, how could he know it? And then he says to me, shall I tell you more? I was already stunned by what he was saying. I said, go ahead, tell me more. He said, when I asked you to write a number between 1 and 5, you thought, this man thinks I will write 5, but I am going to call his bluff and I'll write 3. He repeated my thought. Now this, of course, is after that, but he was able to read how I made my choice. He said, when I asked you to write the name of a flower, you thought to yourself, he thinks I will write rose and I will write a new flower, and you wrote chameli. He knew exactly my thinking process by which I came to the conclusion and wrote those words. How could he know? How could he know 5 minutes earlier than I thought what to write? So I asked him. I said, I am completely stumped because I thought that this was my thinking, my choice, my free will to write these things. How could you know? He said, we are a small group of people we called Bhatras. In India, we just about small group left, both of them have died, and we have learned special training through yoga practice that we can read another person's mind or what he will be doing in the next 5 minutes. I said, if you can read not only the mind of what one is thinking, but he will think in 5 minutes later, that means that must be recorded somewhere. You must be getting it from somewhere. He said, yes, everything is recorded. The entire life is recorded. But you don't feel it because nobody ever tells you that they can read things ahead of you. It is not that the event is recorded, the manner in which you will decide, the very way you will decide things, which constitutes free will. Free will is that we have an experience of determining which choice to make. And even the method of making the choice is pre-recorded. And how do we find out? Through meditation, we go above and see it's all written up. Already, we go to the second stage of ascent to the causal plane, and we find everything we'll ever think, every event that will ever happen is totally pre-recorded. Then we say, what kind of people are we? We don't have free will. Then why are we being put through the law of karma? Why are we being blamed for good things and bad things that were written already? Somebody is responsible for writing that, and they should be punished, and they should be rewarded. If God wrote that, let God be punished, and God be rewarded. Whoever wrote that should be punished, not we. We discovered we have no free will, and we are being forced into the law of karma. Then we have to go above the mind to get an answer to that question. And we go above the mind. We wrote it. Nobody else did. It was our karma at the highest level. Therefore, what looked like free will here became non-free will later, becomes free will at the top. That's a beautiful way it is set up. Nothing can be more perfect than this. That we are the real free will, and we created this in our totality. The whole show was written up in totality by us. The whole show is being played out here according to our writing in totality. In the middle, it looks like it is separated from us, and we are now exercising free will, and somebody else has written there. Nobody else wrote it. We wrote it ourselves. So here we start with feeling free will is real. We go one step, it's unreal. We go to the top, it's real again. Understand, these are experiences. There's nothing reality about it. It's an experience. Experience of choice making is one of the great experiences in the physical world with our mind. That with our mind we can make choices like this. It's one of the best experiences. If that was not there, we would be automatons, just like robots functioning here. No fun. We came for fun. People forget that also. Why did we come into this world? Did we come to have suffering and pain and all that? Not at all. We came for fun. We came for an exhilarating, exciting ride, like a roller coaster, like a bungee jump, like something where danger is there, that we want to take risks over here. We are gamblers. We want to gamble with our experiences here, and we go up and down. And we generated the experience knowing it's just an experience. It's just an illusion. It's just a show. It's just a shadow. It's just a movie. We did it deliberately like that. And then we made it so real to enjoy it even more. The reality was not made so we suffer. The reality was made so that we get deeper into it and enjoy it, which we are doing. We're suffering and enjoying. At the same time, some things are very good, some things are pretty bad. Then we go through this, we get out of it. What a show. What a nightmare. We don't say we went into these things. When we are in a true home, we never feel that we ever had any of this. We just saw it and put ourselves in one of the characters and experienced it to be very close to the action. If you want to go and see a movie, think of it like this. You go to a movie theater, buy a ticket, you pay for it. So therefore you value it. Watching a movie is a valuable thing because you're paying a price for it. Then you go and sit in the audience and the show starts. And there are a lot of things that are happening and you totally forget it's a movie. People cry in their movies. Oh, they're so terrible. What's happening? Nothing is happening. The actors paid for acting and they were recorded much earlier. It's just being shown as shadows on the screen and you're crying there. With all my knowledge, with all my awareness, I can tell you when I watch a movie, I cry. In fact, my family is so careful, they carry extra handkerchief for me to wipe my tears. It's true. I can tell you I take a movie as real as this one. No difference. And we all do. This was actually a Greek philosopher had explained this phenomenon long ago. That's Aristotle, the successor of Socrates and Plato, Aristotle. Aristotle was commenting upon drama. Why we need drama? Why should we have theater? Why should we see other people acting? What happens to us? And he said, a theater is necessary for us, for taking care of our emotions. That when we see an act, those people are acting, we take them as real. And they transplant their emotions upon us. So that our excess of emotions, which we are carrying in us, which are making our life difficult, by watching them, we are able to purgate those emotions. It is a purgation of excess of emotions by identifying with the characters in the play. And he says, how do we do it? He says, by deliberately suppressing the fact that this is not real. What he calls a willing suspension of disbelief. We willingly suspend our disbelief so that for the time being we believe it's real, and that's how the excess of emotions goes away. Aristotle wrote it 2,000 years ago. And ever since then we have been doing the same thing, and drama and storytelling has been part of our life to help us. This helps us even more. This show, this is even better than that. But when we are watching a movie, we don't realize for that moment that this is a script written earlier, that the movie was shot earlier, that the movie is not on the screen at all, that the movie is in a film loaded behind us, that the film is totally still. There's no movement in it. Just by rolling it quickly at more than 16 frames per second, it looks like moving. There's nothing moving actually. We think it's all moving. And unless the light is behind that projector, the light of the projector, nothing will be seen. We forget all that. Nobody turns around to see how it happens. We have not gone there to see how it happens. We have gone to see the movie. Same thing here. Have we realized that our life that we are going through is pre-recorded? Is pre-recorded inside, is being played out, that our consciousness, the light of consciousness is piercing through it, through the mind which contains the movie and projecting outside on the multi-dimensional screen, and we are watching, and we have to take it through to get rid of our excess of emotions. It's the similar process here. If we go in, we'll see. If we turn our attention to the projector in the movie theater, you'll say this is not real. But we have not gone there to see it's unreal. We have gone there to see it's real. Our own aim was to see reality, not to see unreality. And that's why we suspend our disbelief and begin to believe it. There were Indian guys in a village, poor fellow, he'd never seen a movie. And some friend of his said, come to the town and I'll show you a movie. And he takes him. And in the movie there is a scene where a woman is going to take a bath in an open pool, and she's taking off her clothes. And before she can become totally nude, a train comes and passes in front. By the time the train goes, she's already in the... He went to the movie 20 times, hoping that the train will be late one day. That is how we watch our movie. So when we talk of this predetermination and free will, remember, free will is a real experience granted to us at the physical world. And the basis of the free will is predetermined. And it is only when you rise to that level you will discover the predetermination of it. And if you go even beyond that, you will find you are the author of the predetermination. Therefore, it is still your free will. Though it's not here, it's still there. Thank you. Thank you for loving us all underlined. Yeah, that's good. And being here to teach us about our true home. Whoever wrote, thank you very much. Since beginning the journey with you on September last, my life is enhancing with each breath. Your energy is experienced even through photos, including love and devotion. What can I give back to you? You're already giving back your love and devotion through this piece of paper. Thank you very much. What should be one's internal orientation or attitude when making daily choices if the choices are already made? We don't know which choices are already made. And that's why we have to make choices. I just explained. The whole concept of free will is that we have to make choices. How they are made, we made it, but we don't remember. We don't know how we made it. We have to go through it now. By going through it now, we are making the choices again. How should we make choices on a daily basis? There are many ways to make choices. On the spiritual path, if you are converting your life into one of spirituality, a spiritual life, then every time you make a choice, see what will lead you more towards your spiritual goal. Whenever you have options, put this question in front of you. These are my options, these are my choices. Which one will take me greater to my master? Which one will take me greater to my spiritual journey? Which one will be more beneficial for spirituality? The answer will come straight away which choice to make. If you do that, your life will turn into a spiritual life automatically. Which one should I read first? Well, before I understood the spiritual path, I was very much concerned with what comes first, what comes later. And some experiences that you have inside tell you that nothing comes first and nothing comes later. That everything is simultaneous. And it's a division that we make to create cause and effect. And it's a division being made to totality of experience. And divisions create time and create events and create cause and effect. So that is why here we have to live according to cause and effect. So there are, if I have two papers in my hand, I can use many methods to make a choice. I can toss a coin. I can toss these and make up my decision. But very often in life you will find it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter in what order you do things. Sometimes we are very bothered by that. It really doesn't matter. Many things can be done in different orders and it will lead to the same results. So just an aside for you. Can you elaborate about initiation from a perfect living master? I am new to all this. Do you initiate people? How does it happen? Please elaborate. What happens during initiation? Can you elaborate? Second part. Can you elaborate on choosing a mantra? I am new to meditation. Thank you very much for these questions. Initiation by a perfect living master is a master, a human being, in that with awareness, accepting you as his friend, accepting you as one who will go with him to the true home. That's initiation. Initiation is a perfect living master with that consciousness guaranteeing that you will go back with him. A perfect living master during initiation puts you in touch with himself, within yourself, so that by meditation you can see the same master in the same form that you see in the physical body inside, and talk to him and be with him at all times. During initiation, a perfect living master destroys all your reserve karma, which creates a cycle of karmas, so that you can't have many lives after that anyway, but if you do have, they are limited at the most, with the worst circumstances, to 4 more human lifetimes. But generally, it is 1 lifetime, sometimes 2. It's extreme cases. And about the number of lifetimes you can have after initiation, I remember an event that happened with my dad. He was a follower of Great Master. And one day he could not attend satsang, he could not attend his discourse. During the discourse, the Great Master had made this statement that after initiation, a initiate will never have more than 4 lifetimes in all, including the lifetime of the initiation, that not more than 3 more. So my dad was not there, but he heard from some other satsangis that this is what Master said. So he ran up to Great Master after the satsang. He said, I missed the satsang, but I heard you saying that after initiation, a disciple who's initiated by a master, perfect living master, cannot have more than 4 lifetimes. Is that true? Great master said, Lekhraj, that was my father's name. Lekhraj, why are you worried? This is your last life. Why are you asking this question? He said, I am asking this question because I may need more than 4. Are you restricting us to 4? And great master laughed. And he said, when a person rises to the level of being able to decide to have the experience, at that level, if you rise above the mind, you have a choice to come any number of times. You are like the one who's creating this universe. Therefore, there's no restriction on how often you come. But it is those who have not had that experience that they are assured that so long as they are in the physical world, in physical bodies, they will not come more than 4 times. It does not mean everybody has to come 4 times. And he explained further. Great Master explained further. He said, if you follow the instructions, a perfect living master gives you at the time of initiation, this is your last life. No question. If you cannot follow the instructions and fail in some parts of it and cannot fulfill your obligations under this initiation, do meditation, do this, keep away from drugs, keep away from meat, alcohol, whatever the master gives instructions at the time of initiation. If you fall from it and cannot fulfill all of them, you may come for one more lifetime. Only if you give away the path completely and go astray, say, no, I am not even interested, you come the 3rd life. Only when you become so critical of the master who initiated you, you even assassinate him, you kill him, you crucify him, then you come on the 4th life. Don't think that everybody has to come 4 lives. Most of us have to come only 1 life just by following the instructions of our master. And if something is left over and we have to come 2nd time, then the next life is built only out of the events of 1 life. There is no sinchit karma, no reserve karma to add on to it. So it's always much better, much more conducive to meditation. And that's why you can go away next life. So it's not the guarantee. Considering that we have been here for millions of lives, 1 life, 4 lives is a very short period in terms of this whole big cosmic time that we are going through. So one should not bother, but this is a guarantee. At the time of initiation, a perfect living master destroys those. And when he gives you the initiation, he helps you to get on to the path. If you follow instructions, you are taken back towards your home, I must say. Not always to Sachkhand, but no rebirth here. And if you feel after initiation that you have not made much progress, internally you are happy, internally you feel there is something good going on, and I experience the love of my master, but I don't think I have reached the levels of consciousness that I was expecting. In that case, the master will make you complete that course of levels of consciousness in the astral plane. But you will not come back here again. And the astral plane is a much easier plane because they are pre-programmed. It is pre-programmed, no choice making, no dilly-dallying, no saying I'll do it tomorrow, no procrastination. So it's a better place to fulfill the rest of your progress towards your true home. Some people, and that also I should mention to you, that some people are so fascinated by the great beauty of the astral plane, they don't want to go very fast. They say, let's have a good time. The physical world wasn't so great. This is a heavenly place, and I can actually go into all the heavens. I can see so much beauty here. And some people have great sensibilities, and they say, we can stay here forever. And some people are staying for long periods. Master never leaves them. Whether they stay for 1 day or 1 year or 1,000 years, Master never leaves them. They have that experience together. So a perfect living master's initiation guarantees the master will be with you no matter how long your journey is from the astral plane onwards to your true home. So that's another guarantee of initiation by a perfect living master. The perfect living master also gives you a mantra or a simran or words to repeat. He gives it because that's traditional, that meditation is using mantra in order to prevent the thoughts from scattering. So we repeat some words. Actually, you can repeat any word, it helps. If you just rapidly repeat any words. I remember the master of transcendental meditation once came to see me. He wanted me to spread that word over the people, and he said, we can repeat certain words. I said, I can repeat any word. You can keep on repeating any word, it helps in concentrating your attention. But the perfect living master at the time of initiation gives words which have no connotation with any experience outside. It has a connotation, has a meaning with an experience that will follow inside. So he in advance prepares you by using words which are just an expression of what you can expect inside. The words that we use here in any language, as you probably know, any language that we speak here, the words are merely phonetic symbols. They're sounds, twisted sounds to look like words, and they become a language. What is the meaning of a twisted sound? How does it become language? How does it become intelligible to us? Is only by association of ideas. When a child is born and we constantly show him a cup and call it cup, his mind says that is cup. If no cup is shown and we keep on saying cup, he'll never know what a cup is. Therefore, all words in all languages have meaning to us, meaning and interpreted by our mind only with the association of ideas, what we can associate that word. Then the association can expand. For example, a child is told there's a chair. Then his chair, as a child, is only that chair. Then he sees big chairs and small chairs. So chair becomes bigger than one chair. It becomes 3 chairs. It becomes a form, shape. He sees 1,000 chairs when he grows up, and the chair becomes a much bigger thing. This was a point that was touched on by Socrates in his dialogue with Plato, when he said that when Plato had an argument about idealism, that how can inner things and ideas be more real than things? And that is how it was explained. That look at an idea of a chair and look at a concept of a chair. Let's go with the concept, which starts at the causal plane. Something to sit on higher than the level of the ground. Okay? Just a concept. It's not a chair, just a concept. That there's a ground and we can be actually sitting higher than that ground. It's a great concept. Then comes the idea. We can make a structure of some furniture on which we can sit. That becomes an idea of a chair. Then we come to physical world and make a chair. If that concept had not existed in the causal plane, if the idea had not existed in the astral plane, we could not make a chair. There would have been no chairs at all. But once that concept, which was single concept, just a concept, no chair. The concept did not include what ultimately came out. But the concept was the same which made the chair. In the astral plane, it became an idea. When the idea of a chair came, which chair was it? This or that? Or which one? There are thousands of chairs here. That idea of a chair covered all chairs. The idea of a chair covers all chairs. Therefore, from the idea of a chair, which was one idea, we were able to make all the chairs here. So Plato was told the idea is more real. Without the idea, nothing can be made here. The whole world here that we are watching is made out of ideas created at the astral plane. And the whole astral plane is created by the concepts created in the causal plane. It's a metaphysical subject and can be understood very well by those who study metaphysics, that these are sources of creation of different objects that become visible to our sensory perceptions. So when we talk of language, the language we speak here has association of ideas based upon the ideas with which the thing was made. That means a child sees one chair, that's his chair. He grows up, more chairs become the chair. At the end, he comes to the astral idea. Chair means all the chairs that he can possibly see. He'll call every one of them a chair. The single word will mean. But It means the word, the sound, chair, is only possible to be understood if that experience of being with the chair has been there. All education that we have in languages, every language that we have ever learned is based upon this, is based upon association of ideas. It is not only physical objects, it is also possible to associate them with abstract items like jealousy, hatred. This is not a piece of thing, it's not a person even. Jealousy is something, it's a very abstract thing, it's an experience. And yet we can use words like that to create the idea of what it is. All jealous people will have the same jealousy. Although jealousy is one, but the experience will be of so many people and maybe in different circumstances, but still be jealousy. So this is how the words have these meanings and limited meanings. Now, meaning of a word is different than the word. Supposing I were to say chair in one language and repeat the word chair in another language, the words are different. They refer to the same chair. When we have what we call telepathic communication, we communicate with people telepathically, then we are really referring to the meaning and not to the word. Have you ever noticed this? People have had telepathic communication with other people, and when they want to convey a message, it's not the word they are conveying, it's the meaning of the word they are conveying. Therefore, in telepathy, I can send a message in English, and a person who doesn't know English but only knows German can understand it. In the astral plane, that's normal communication. You can think in any language, and it can be understood by another person next to you immediately because of the meaning being transferred. So there are so many other features like this. When perfect living masters initiate us and they give us some words, they pick up words which have association of ideas with experience still to come. And that is why they prepare us in advance. So those words are useful for holding our attention and blocking the mind from thinking of other words like any other words. And yet they are also meaningful because they're preparing us for a future experience. And thirdly, when perfect living masters give those words, they empower those words. And the words have no longer the same connotation that they had. They become empowered as a protective force against negativity. Because perfect living masters know that this is a world of negativity. A lot of negativity here. And the negativity attacks us. So the perfect living masters give us a means to prevent the negativity from attacking us. And by those words, by repetition of the words, we prevent negativity from attacking us outside or inside, and smoothens our way on the spiritual path. That is initiation by perfect living master. And that is how they teach us to meditate, to go from stage to stage, and then they join us at the astral plane and they take us back home. Their guarantee is that we'll go together. But we'll go together in two different forms. One, guidance from the physical form of a master here, who cannot be with us 24/7, but we can meet whenever we can, and guidance from a master inside who is with us 24/7. This little gap, when we are only with the master sometimes, occasionally, and when we are with the master all the time, is the gap where we use our free will, should I go, not go, and all those questions of doubt arise. Once we are there, all these finish. In the rest of the journey, one doesn't have to worry about. It is all in the company of the master who knows the entire route to our true home. Thank you very much. I'll see you and talk to you about 3 o'clock again for our final session. And those who have not had prashad, is there anybody who did not get prashad yesterday? After the talk at 3 o'clock, at about 3:30 or so, you can come here and we'll give you the prashad in this talk. Okay? Thank you very much.